So I specifically wanted to make a video just talking about Journey Together ETBs and what to learn from it so you guys can save money, because I know there are some people that are super hyped up about Destined Rivals and some people may be possibly overpaying what they really should be, and I don't want you guys to lose money, like seriously. And I really need you guys to look at this product and take it as an example of what Destined Rivals ETBs are probably going to do, so you can just avoid losing money. So Journey Together ETBs. I have some of these. I was able to get them for under $70, luckily. But looking at what they're at, what they're currently at, probably wouldn't have bought them, to be honest. But yeah, Journey Together ETBs are hitting an all-time low now of $72, and sales really aren't picking up that much, even when they're hitting this price, which is pretty crazy. So look at this chart. So this is where I want you guys to learn and take an example of Journey Together, right? Look at this product, look at what it peaked at before, releasing, and look at what it dropped to, and how you can apply this to Destined Rivals. Now, obviously, it's going to be a little bit different because Journey Together, yeah, it's not as hyped up as Destined Rivals, but still, it had the hype before, being released, and obviously now things have sort of, gone down. But look at how much this dropped. It peaked at, and they were selling, like, look at the data here. They were selling at 130. 60 ETBs were selling. That's still a lot of sales, right? At this price point. People were buying these, pre-ordering these at 130 for this Journey Together ETB. And what are they at now, a couple weeks after being released? Guys, you can buy these now for $70. And even here, you can look at the prices. It looks like at one point, these were selling for under $70. So look at how much that dropped. From 130, right, to $72, or what is that lowest listed, but it did drop to 70. That's pretty significant. Now, why does this stuff happen, right? So, I've talked about it many times. Any product you can find in stores at Targets, Walmarts, Best Buys, whatever, products that can get scalped, they will crash the most. Booster boxes, which you can't buy at those stores, they won't see as much of a huge decrease as these products, but ETBs, they will see huge decreases. And I know there's some people out there that don't believe it, that will buy maybe Destined Rivals ETBs, maybe $100 plus. Things will go down very drastically for Destined Rivals ETBs. And this is just a perfect example. Yes, the difference is the hype, but it's just I guess something to look at, because they're both comparable. They're both main sets. And they both had their hype. Like Journey Together was, I said, like, it had its hype before, obviously after being released, cooled down. But look how much has gone down. So you really got to understand it. Look at this, and look at where Destined Rivals ETBs are at right now. They're at 160. Now, the sales are still pretty crazy, for being at 160. I mean, there's still 20 to 30 boxes of these being sold every single day. But guys, you can find these at Walmart's, Best Buys, Targets. What does that mean? It means they're going to get scalped. It means the market's going to get flooded. It means these will drop drastically. Now, I'm not saying these will drop to what Journey Together did. I'm not saying these are going to drop to $70. Like, I'm not saying that. But at 160, if you don't think these are going to go down to, in my opinion, at least $100, like, I'm pretty sure these can get down to sub 100. That's just my opinion, because the way I see it is this. If Prismatic, right, is a specialty set, there's no booster box. If Prismatic dropped from 150 all the way down to $100, and that was a specialty set with a $1,500 card in it, Destined Rivals for a normal ETB, when there's a booster box in the set, there's no way, in my opinion, this is going to be only going to go down to $100 to where Prismatic was. That's just my opinion. I think these could go down to around $80, $90. Like, that's just my opinion, and it's possible it could go down further. It depends, obviously, what everything goes on with the set, but things will drop very drastically for these ETBs. And it's going to be one of those things where, if you don't believe me or whatever, you can pre-order it, but don't be surprised when this price drops drastically to from where it's at right now at 160, because 160 is ridiculous. And I don't understand people who are paying this price, because it's so obvious things are going to drop drastically. But I think some people just caught up with this whole thing with Destined Rivals and being Team Rocket, where they just assume because of this, all these prices make sense. But it's going to be crazy when things drop and people will really find out. But yeah, things at 160 are still selling, which is scary, which is why I wanted to make this video to inform you guys to, you probably don't want to pay this price. And I honestly wouldn't, even if you can find this for like $100, I wouldn't even pay that price, because I really think prices could drop sub 100 for this product. And as you can see here, yeah, there's just a bunch listed at around this price, 159. So it's probably going to stay here for a while unless more people start listing and prices go down, because we saw that with the booster boxes where prices were 320 and then they dropped to 275 now. I believe these, I don't know, at 160, the fact that Journey Together peaked at 130, it's possible these might just stay here until getting released, or they might even go up. But I think still it's crazy that a normal ETB is even at this price at all. Now, going on to the other ETB, which is the Pokemon Center one, Journey Together, it's very surprising how slow the sales are. Now, I know this is like double MSRP or whatever, so you could say it's crazy, but when you consider other ETBs or other PC ETBs in this era and the prices of those, like look at Surging Sparks, right? This ETB is not that expensive comparatively to everything else at being at 140, because it still was a very hyped up set and everything, and it's still like a good set. But at 140, the sales are still pretty low and prices have not gone up. And it's been like 2 weeks now. So, I don't think this would be as good of a comparison as what's probably going to happen with the Destined Rivals normal ETBs, where prices are going to go down drastically. Because, I feel like the promo has a good thing to do with, the price of the PC ETBs and the stamp promo. That's like a huge thing. And for Destined Rivals, it being a little bit different, it's a Team Rocket thing, whatever. It's possible the PC ETBs aren't going to drop as much as these did, but at one point these were selling for $200 plus. Now they're at 140 and they're not really selling much. But even buying though Destined Rivals PC ETBs at $300 because that's what they're selling at right now. There's really no sales on TCG Player because no one's listing them on here on there, but they're selling for 300. I think especially when you take into consideration of what happened that day, where how many of these got sold, I would not pay 300. I really think it's possible. Kind of the same thing. I'm making a little bit of comparisons here too. Prismatic ETBs, PC ETBs dropped to like 220. I think these can drop 200. I think these could drop to 200. So buying at 300, obviously, I don't think it's a good price. I think it's crazy, and especially like I said, you take into fact that how many PC ETBs sold that one day when they dropped. I think these are going to get massively dumped, in my opinion. If Pokemon Center does fulfill every single one of those orders, these are going to get dumped because so many people are going to flip them to like triple their money. Prices are going to go down, in my opinion, pretty drastically. Probably not to 140 like Journey Together because there's not really as much demand here. You can see it's pretty low, but they are going to drop. So I just wanted to specifically make this video to tell you guys, booster boxes, a little bit of a harder argument because if you're able to get them for maybe 250, 270, that might not be the worst thing ever. But these ETBs, like, they're going to drop so much. I feel like we've seen it happen with these previous sets. Even, Surging, I don't think really happened as crazy. Like, it wasn't as much as these, but like Prismatic, Journey Together. Take examples with these products, PC ETBs and regular ETBs, and how much they really do drop on release day. Don't get too caught up in this whole hype thing where prices aren't going to go down because it's Team Rocket, it's Destined Rivals. Things will go down drastically for these products because they're going to get scalped, they're going to get dumped, and I just don't want you guys to lose money. So please don't buy these, products at these current market prices because they're ridiculous. So that's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.